Hello, Hope Castle Rock here, and today's topic is on self-care. My cat, this is like, I keep trying to record stuff. As soon as I hit the record button, he like starts messing with me, and he's like cool, calm, chilling out. And then I hit the record button, and he's like, I need attention, Mom. All right, so today's topic is self-care, and I took a bunch of notes and tried to streamline my thought process so that I can make these videos a little shorter and more concise. And so this term might be something that's a little bit new to some of you. It's commonly known in the healthcare industry, whatever that means, medical wellness, all that sort of thing. So I found a really nice article on self-care when I was doing a little bit of research today, and I'll post the link in the comment section or whatever the description section thing is. And so basically, I think that this comment, or this quote, I should say, really kind of sums up nicely what I'm talking about here. So self-care is a very active and powerful choice to engage in the activities that are required to gain or maintain an optimal level of overall health. And in this case, overall health includes not just the physical, but the psychological, emotional, social, and spiritual components of an individual's well-being. And so what does that really mean? Like, basically, it's essential to taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. Like, point blank. If you want to just, have the overall theme there, it's taking care of you. And you can't really give the gift that you want to give to the world unless you put you first. So what does that really mean? Like, how does a person put themselves first in a non-egotistical or a, not in a bad way, basically. And I apologize for this lighting. I can't seem to get the right light. I've got some backlights to kind of like fix the shadows, but it's like if I open the blinds too much, then the sun's on me, and if I close them, and then there's these weird shadows. So I apologize with the whole black sweater contrast thing. So most of my life, I have been surrounded by people who were self-sacrificing, but to the martyr extent. And where is the value in that? I don't see any value in that. If you run yourself into the ground to the point of not being able to bounce back from whatever you have been stressed out about, there is no benefit to the world. Like, a lot of people I've seen, they'll cut themselves off and just do anything and everything that they can for their, their significant others or for their children, but then they get these weird health issues, and really that's a symptom of a problem. And it's not honorable to you, and it's not honorable to your significant others or your children. It's not setting a good example for other people, and it's just not contributing to the world at all, really. And there's so many people in this world that just cut themselves off, and they have good intentions, maybe, but it ultimately is not a good thing. So you need to put into practice some sort of revitalizing activities that, you can pamper yourself, you can, to basically reduce stress as much as possible. And, I kind of tend to view the body as if it's, in a sense, it's kind of like that ghost in the shell thing, which is kind of, it's not the anime, but the philosophical viewpoint. I think it was Kant that that talked about just being a ghost in a shell. And you're just running around kind of like a computer program in a sense. I mean, I think if he were alive today, he would see it that way. So I kind of view the body as if it's just a program. There's all these different programs running, but you can change these programs. And so if you're having a hard time taking care of yourself, but you think that you're doing the right thing by doing this and this and this and this over here for these people, you're not doing this and this and this and this for these people. You're really cutting yourself off, and you're cutting them off, and you're doing everyone a disservice because it's not honoring to yourself. And so, you have to put your well-being first, and that's really what self-care is about. And, on the altruistic level, you can't provide for everyone if you're broken. And that means mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And believe me, I've done my fair share of self-deprecating behaviors and not taking care of myself. And this year is my year to change that. And it's a lifestyle for sure. And it's really, it's possible to make changes, and you don't have to make changes, drastic changes, but sometimes you do need to make drastic changes. So just check in with yourself on whether or not, certain aspects of what I'm talking about ring home, and, you really need to be whole. That's really what self-care is all about, is being whole and content within yourself. And, there's some pretty good news, because it's never too late. It's never too late to start. It's just never too late. And I can't stress that enough. There is no particular age that dictates, like, once you pass, X age, then there's like some kind of weird, plateau limit. No. You can do this whether you're 90, 85, 50, 30, 25. You are able to make changes. And I give you permission to, for some of you, you might need permission, but I give you permission to put yourself first. And that might mean that your whole world gets flipped upside down. But if it's necessary for you to be a contribution and a contributing factor in this world, then do it. And that's a big reason why I quit my job, and why, my last job that I had was very stressful. And I don't even think that it matters what job I had. If I had left that job and gone to another job right away, it wouldn't have mattered, because I needed to reset certain fundamental aspects of myself, and I needed to put myself first. So if I had a job, then it's not contributing to my growth. Like right now, I need time to myself. I need time to focus on me, and I couldn't do that if all I'm doing is focusing on someone else's priorities in a job. And so, I quit my job, and I'm working on, sorry, somebody walked by and I got distracted. So I'm working on resetting everything, right? And I'm going minimalist so that I can just focus on what my priorities are, and I just, last week, I got rid of my couch. It was so light having it gone, and so much joy entered into my life, just having this extra space in my house. And man, I wish, I had seen, I did before I moved into this place in August of this year, I did have the realization that, I didn't want the couch anymore. And I'd known that for a good while, that I didn't want the couch. But I kept thinking, oh, well, I need it, because who doesn't have a couch, And so then I move in here, and it's, the living room just felt crowded. And I finally, last week, with it being close to Christmas, I was just like, I've posted my couch online multiple times for sale, but nobody would pick it up. People were like, oh, that couch is gorgeous, because it was like 1915 era antique couch that had been refinished with this really beautiful floral pattern. It is a stunning couch, but there's just something about the energy of that couch that wasn't resonating with me anymore, and it was time for it to move on. And so, yeah, I don't have a couch. I'm sitting on the floor. I'm going to get some couch cushions, or not couch cushions, but like floor cushions and whatnot. But little things like that can be really, really self-serving. And so, I challenge you to look at what is working and what is not working in your life, and make a list of everything. So but I definitely recommend starting small, because lifestyle choices and lifestyle changes sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes take time to integrate and to work through. So whatever these things might be, just notice them. And I would say one aspect of changing your lifestyle in this way would be to sit down. A good start, anyway, would be to sit down and write out a list of all the things in your life that you can do on a regular basis that would help you to not feel as stressed. And I kind of feel like right now is a good time to talk about money, because a lot of people prioritize money. And I'm thinking of one person in particular that I know, who I've known this guy for like 4 years. I met him in class at college. He's been stressed out since the day I met him, and probably was stressed out for years prior to that, and not taking care of himself. I think it was like 2 years ago or so, he was going through a divorce and had heart attack-like symptoms. But he looks healthy on the outside. He's thin, he's not overweight, he dresses well, but he's just always anxious and always upset. And then he does like this binge eating thing. That's not healthy behavior. And he had these heart attack-like symptoms, and he went to the doctor, and even though he's not overweight, he had a significant blockage in his arteries. And so what good is he going to do to this world, or what good are you going to do to this world if you sacrifice your health in order to make money? That's not good, and any way you look at it, it's not good. And so you might be saying, oh, I know, but I have to have money. Well, no, you really don't. You need a roof over your head, like a safe place to sleep. You need food in your belly. You need enough clothing to cover yourself, and you need human contact. Those are essentials to living. You don't actually need a fancy car, a fancy house. You don't need fancy toys or gadgets or electronic equipment that's fancy, all that blah, blah, blah. No, you don't need that. What you need in life is sustenance. You need emotional support. You need to feel whole. And in order to feel whole, wholeness doesn't always require money. In fact, if you're chasing money, that's also a symptom, as well as being overweight or obese. That's a symptom of a fundamental thing that's out of alignment within yourself. And so, sit down with that. Sit down with yourself. Take a sober look at yourself. Maybe you need to go to a park and, just sit on a bench and reflect, or maybe you need to go hiking, or whatever it is that brings you joy and peace and a little bit of that oneness. Then sit and reflect and just be with yourself. And if you're really uncomfortable doing that, That's okay. That's totally okay. I give you permission to notice that as well. But there's more there. Usually if we're uncomfortable, if we have uncomfortable sensations, then it's usually a symptom of something else. Like you're not comfortable looking at yourself. You're not comfortable reflecting inside yourself. Well, what is that? Why is that? And maybe that what and why isn't necessarily that important, which I don't feel that it is super important. I mean, it helps sometimes to, I definitely am I like that linear thought pattern. I like to figure things out. I mean, I think that's, why a lot of people study psychology, because they want to figure out the who, what, where, whens, and whys of everything. But you don't always need to do that. Energetically, just sit with yourself, and if being in a crowded place like people watching at the mall, just sitting on a bench and reflecting on life is going to help you, or sitting under a tree like Buddha, if that's going to help you, do it. Just do something. And so, okay, I have so many notes. Does exercise contribute to this oneness that I'm talking about? Maybe not, sitting still and doing it. People can meditate or drop into a meditative state in all various types of situations. So, and I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at anyway, or what I was getting at before I said that. So, does exercise help you understand who you are? Does, fishing, does going for a walk, does sitting under a tree, does, volunteering with animals help you understand what's going on? Do it. And don't have an excuse for it. And you know what? If you can't leave your job, if you are so tethered to your job and money that you can't, you have to. You just have to. And you got to figure out a way to make it happen. Whether it's like just setting the intention to walking away from your career, or changing to a different career, or moving to a different part of the country or something like that. It's important to make changes and grow. But I do want to add that, you can move 100 different places, but those are not those different places. You could switch jobs, you could move houses, you could, get a different boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, reinvent yourself, right? You could do that until the cows come home, but you're always going to be there. Like you are always going to be wherever you are. And so you changing your situation, changing your external surroundings is not, and I do repeat, not going to change who you are at the heart level. And so you have, and this is why it's so important to really do this, activity here. Sit down with yourself and prioritize really like what is going on with you. And so, let's see. Okay, so just take a couple of, a couple of weeks if you need to, a couple of days, couple of weeks, whatever. Maybe the next time you have a day off from work, take whatever opportunities you can, and wherever you can steal the time, do it. And, even if that's in traffic, you can turn the radio off and be with yourself. Even if you're talking to yourself, talking out loud, like, oh man, this and that and blah, 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 like whatever, do it. Be with yourself. Talk to yourself. I know a lot of people that talk to themselves in traffic, and that's totally normal. And so, get a sense for how you feel with this activity. And when you're ready, sit down with a pen and paper. And maybe you just need to sit down with a pen and paper. And, my point to this variety for the activity is to really just do what's right for you. I mean, that's the best thing that you can do for anyone and for the world, for me, for everyone. and world peace is kind of coming to mind here. Like, the best thing that anyone in this world can do is to be true to themselves. And so sit down and make a list. Now, I had earlier this year, I hired a relationship coach that I've linked her website in my comment section a few times. And a couple of months ago, we did what she calls the best me activity. And that was making a list of all of the ideal things to do in a day for me. So I'm going to list some of these off. So sleeping 8 to 9 hours a day, which I normally don't do that. Time to myself. Let's see, I didn't put a time frame on there. Exercise, I said I want to do 2 to 4 hours a day. Okay, so yeah, I would say at least with 2 hours a day, and that is ideal. These are ideals for me, right? So I would love to spend 2 to 4 hours every day with myself. And, I even put in here quitting my job would help me be the best me. And so then, oh, here we go. Okay, so daily committing to, after we did, we walked through our exercise here. So daily committing to 1 to 2 hours of movement every day. And there's no specific thing like, oh, I have to go to yoga, or I have to, do Pilates, or I have to row on my rowing machine for 1 to 2 hours. No, like, it's just whatever. Movement of any sort. I require movement. I'm a very kinesthetic person, highly kinesthetic. And so I require movement in order to integrate and really be me and feel like me and be at my best. And we came up with 1 to 2 hours of puttering, which could look like organizing, drawers, or minimizing things, sorting my things in order to clear out a space of some sort. Or that could be writing, or that could be journaling, because those are different things. But so journaling, writing, just idea creation, and in bed by 11 p.m. at the latest, which I have hardly been able to do since then. Or if I am in bed, my eyes are like bing, and then I'm like thinking. Like I got the video idea for today last night at like 1:30 in the morning. I'm laying there and I'm trying to sleep, and I'm tossing and turning, and I can't sleep, and my mind's going, and I drop into that state where right before you go to sleep, like you drop in, and then all of a sudden these ideas, I'm not thinking about anything, but boom, I get an idea. And like that's consistently been happening for the last, the last couple of weeks or months or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, here is a self-care thing that I need to step up to, is like, I need to spend more time during the day in a creative space, so that at 1 in the morning when I'm trying to sleep, I don't have to get up and start writing down these ideas so I don't lose them. So that's a good example of the self-care process in action. So today I went to a coffee shop and I sat for 2 hours and, went over all this stuff, contemplated. I did so many things besides this as well. So another thing that we did was, let's see, meal planning. Because eating out, or like not even just eating out, but fast food in general is something that is kind of a problem for me because it's so fast. Like I'm zipping around, I'm doing stuff, I'm busy all the time, and then, I pass a Wendy's and, okay, I'm going to go do this thing. Well, that's not ideal for me. It doesn't work for me very well, and I recognize that, and, that's not cool. So, I need to change that, and I need to do meal planning. And so spiritually, I've mentioned in other videos before that I do Access Consciousness, and they have a lot of tools that are physical and energetic, verbal processes. And so going to a bars trade, which is that's the first hands-on energetic process that they have. And so I have to go to a bars trade at least once a week. Sometimes I can't with my schedule or with my daughter, but I at least need to a couple times a month. And so the ideal would be once a week or more if I can. And then we worked out a 7-minute meditation. There was some sort of science behind that that Joanna was talking about, the relationship coach that I did this exercise with. So, that could be walking, it could be sitting, it could be whatever. So whatever, wherever you are, take time to reflect on your life and prioritize or reprioritize what's going on in your life in order to take care of yourself. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're not really taking care of other people. And there's so many people in this world who, really are devoted to other people. But we need to have an equal amount of devotion to ourselves before we can truly take care of other people. And, loving yourself can sometimes be one of the hardest things to do in life, but it's very necessary. And, I give you permission to love yourself, and I give you permission to not judge yourself and to, take care of yourself. And, maybe maybe it's time for you to take care of yourself. And, I hope that you got some, I hope you got some insight from this video, and I apologize with the 26-minute thing. I hope that you got some of the meatier aspects of it. It probably would have been a lot longer video and a lot more scattered if I hadn't taken notes, so I'm glad I did now. I feel like I kind of got my point across. So if you like this video, please like it, subscribe. I will be making more videos at future dates. I'm not sure yet if I can quite commit to a steady schedule as far as, a specific day to post videos, but I definitely plan on at least once a week posting more. So subscribe so you can stay up to date on what's going on with me. Comment below if you like the video, if you don't like the video, whatever. If you have questions, let me know. So I hope you all have a happy Monday.